The brilliantly shining May sun illuminated the residential neighborhood of Westchester, Ohio. Jennifer Brown stood by the window, sighing as she watched the marigolds she had planted in her flower bed swaying in the breeze. Sunday afternoon. It was nearly time for dinner at her mother-in-law's house again. "Are you ready?" Michael's voice came from behind her. Jennifer turned around and smiled back at her husband's gentle expression. Michael Brown was an architect who ran a small but well-respected construction company in the area. It was just 2 years ago that she had decided to marry him, attracted by his mild temperament and sincerity. "Yes, I'll be ready to leave soon." Jennifer had just turned 34. She was trying to adjust to her new life while working as a freelance graphic designer. Before marriage, she had led a vibrant, independent life in New York, but meeting Michael had changed everything. She hadn't hesitated to relocate her career base for the man she loved, but she still hadn't completely adapted to the quiet rhythm of suburban life. The Sunday ritual, in particular, was a small trial for her. Carol, Michael's mother, never failed to invite the couple to dinner every Sunday. Whether invite was the right word was questionable. It felt more like an implicit obligation. Since losing her husband James to a heart attack 5 years ago, Carol had been living alone in a large suburban house. She was known in the neighborhood as the dignified widow. However, to Jennifer's eyes, there was something unnatural about her mother-in-law's behavior. She was outwardly kind and polite, but her eyes always held a cold, calculating quality. "Mom says she's preparing a special roast beef today," Michael said as he picked up the car keys. "It's my favorite." That was another point of discomfort. The way Michael suddenly became childlike and oddly submissive in Carol's presence. It was as if time reversed, and he turned back into a little boy seeking his mother's approval. "I know," Jennifer answered lightly. "It's always the same roast beef, isn't it?" The couple got into the car and drove about 15 minutes to Carol's house. On the way, Michael enthusiastically talked about his new project. His construction company was growing steadily and had recently gained attention for its environmentally conscious home designs. Jennifer sincerely respected his passion and talent. When they arrived at Carol's house, the door opened immediately, as if she had been watching for their arrival from the window. "Mikey." Carol embraced her son and kissed him on the cheek. "You're late." "I've been waiting for 5 minutes already." When her gaze shifted to Jennifer, her smile hardened a bit. "Jennifer, that dress is nice." Every comment from her mother-in-law contained a subtle critique. Today it wasn't too harsh, but Jennifer could detect the nuanced tone in the way she said, "that dress." "Thank you, Carol," Jennifer responded calmly. Inside the house, the table was already perfectly set. Carol not only remembered her son's favorite foods but also his preferred dishes and arrangements. And as always, Carol's habit was to seat Michael at the head of the table, herself next to him, and Jennifer across from them. Throughout the meal, Carol bombarded Michael with questions about the details of his work. Who were his clients? What was the budget for the projects? When were the deadlines? Michael answered each of his mother's questions carefully. "So, what happened with that East Side development plan? The one for the Johnson family?" Carol asked. Jennifer
Can you imagine making $10,000 a month just from YouTube, all from home? That's exactly what I did with Reddit stories. No face, no voice. Check the link in the description if you're curious.
Michael had mentioned the Johnson project 2 weeks ago, but Carol was continuing the conversation as if they had discussed it just yesterday. After dinner, Carol said she wanted to talk with Mikey alone for a bit and refused Jennifer's offer to help with the kitchen cleanup. Michael looked apologetically at Jennifer but complied with his mother's wishes. Jennifer was left alone in the living room, looking at the old family photographs displayed on the shelves. She wasn't in any of them. On the way home, Michael didn't tell Jennifer about his conversation with his mother. He just said, "Mom is just lonely, that's all." But Jennifer knew better. Carol's excessive interference seemed to stem from something deeper than mere loneliness. She appeared to want to control every aspect of her son's life and didn't seem to have fully accepted the presence of his new wife. When they opened the front door at home, the answering machine light was blinking. Jennifer pressed the play button, and Carol's voice came through. "Mikey, call me first thing tomorrow morning. I need to discuss your health insurance with you." Jennifer sighed again. Carol was trying to manage even her son's health insurance. She couldn't help feeling anxious about how long this situation would continue. Jennifer's birthday was toward the end of May. Michael welcomed her with a special breakfast and presents, and had reserved a dinner at an upscale restaurant downtown for the evening. "It's an important day, so you don't have to answer Mom's calls today," he declared unusually. Jennifer felt truly relieved at those words. While checking her emails in the morning, she received a delivery notification. "It's already here," Michael said with a surprised look. "It's a present from Mom. I thought it would arrive tomorrow." A present from Carol? Jennifer couldn't help the bitterness that seeped into her voice. "Mom really cares about your birthday," Michael said, somewhat apologetically. The delivery arrived in the morning. The carefully wrapped box had a card attached in Carol's meticulous handwriting. "To dear Jennifer. Happy 35th birthday. These are premium coffee beans grown in the remote regions of South America. I thought they would be perfect for a sophisticated young woman like you. With love, Carol." Jennifer frowned. "I just turned 34 though." Michael shrugged. "Mom sometimes gets ages wrong. Don't worry about it." When they opened the box, inside was a package of coffee beans with an elegant black packaging. The brand name El Misterio was printed in gold. According to the description, it was a rare variety, cultivated using special environmental conditions and traditional methods. "It's expensive," Jennifer said as she held it. She found herself touched by Carol's generosity. Carol, who usually prioritized Michael's preferences, had chosen a gift just for her. "Let's thank her next Sunday," Jennifer said, unusually positive. Michael smiled, looking relieved. However, the events of the next morning completely changed Jennifer's feelings. At 7 in the morning, the phone rang. It was Carol. "Good morning, Jennifer. Have you brewed the coffee yet?" Carol's voice sounded unusually high and tense. "No, not yet. I have a morning meeting with a client today," Jennifer answered. "I see, but you have time, don't you?" "This coffee has a special brewing method," Carol urged. "First, the beans must be ground medium using a manual grinder. The water should be over 93 degrees Celsius, and drip for 4 minutes. And make sure to drink it black. Adding sugar or milk would ruin it." "I understand, Carol. Thanks for the advice," Jennifer said while glancing at the clock. It was already time to leave. "And I chose this especially for you. Make sure you're the one who drinks it," Carol emphasized. "I'm planning to send a different blend to Mikey." Jennifer felt a strange unease at those words. Why was she so insistent that Jennifer be the one to drink it? Was it just her mother-in-law's excessive interference? That day, Jennifer spent the morning in meetings with clients and the afternoon focused on a project with an approaching deadline. There was no time to brew coffee. Michael had also left early and sent a message saying he wouldn't be back until late due to supervising a big project on site. Surprisingly, Carol called 3 times that day. "Have you tried the coffee yet? How was it? Did you notice the special aroma? Make sure to try it tonight." After the last call, Jennifer couldn't take it anymore. "Carol, why are you so concerned about the coffee?" After a moment of silence, Carol answered in a calm voice. "It's just kindness, Jennifer. I just want you to have a special experience. This coffee has special powers." "Special powers?" "Yes, you'll understand when you drink it. It might change your life." Carol's voice had a meaningful tone that sent a chill down Jennifer's spine. After hanging up, Jennifer took the coffee bean package and examined it carefully. There was an explanation in Spanish and what appeared to be English on the package, but the last sentence caught her eye. She wasn't fluent in Spanish, but she understood it meant something about special properties and affecting the mind and body. It seemed a bit strange for a normal coffee description. The next day, busy with work again, Jennifer didn't have a chance to brew the coffee. But suspicious of Carol's unusual interest, she searched online for El Misterio coffee. There was no official website, just a few blog posts mentioning it as a phantom coffee. What bothered her even more was the manufacturer information printed on the package. The address was supposedly in the mountains of Costa Rica, but searching for the company name yielded no substantial information. Was this coffee really commercially distributed? The coffee beans themselves were a bit different from ordinary ones. They had a subtle sheen on the surface, and the aroma was unique. Jennifer took one bean in her hand and examined it carefully. There seemed to be an unnatural pattern on the surface, as if something had been applied to it. That night, she intended to show it to Michael when he returned, but he was so exhausted that he took a shower and went straight to bed. Jennifer continued researching the coffee beans. While rare South American variety wasn't specific enough to identify, all major rare varieties were listed on specialty coffee websites. However, nothing corresponding to El Misterio could be found. Her anxiety only increased. Around 11 p.m., as the bedroom clock showed, the phone rang. It was Carol. "Jennifer, I'm sorry for calling at this hour. But I just had to know." Carol's voice sounded higher than usual, tense. "Have you drunk the coffee yet?" Jennifer thought for a moment. What was behind this abnormal interest? She needed to test it. "Yes, but actually Michael liked it so much he drank it all," Jennifer answered with a forced smile. "He seemed to really enjoy it." On the other end of the phone, there was a sound of something falling. Then a moment of silence. "You're lying." Carol's voice trembled. Jennifer held her breath. Carol's voice contained a disturbance she had never heard before. Fear, panic, and anger. There was a moment's pause, and Jennifer felt her heartbeat quicken. "I'm telling the truth. Is there a problem?" Jennifer asked, feigning calmness. On the other end of the phone, Carol's breathing became rough. "How's Michael? Is he there now?" "No, he's taking a shower," Jennifer lied. In reality, Michael was already asleep in the bedroom. "I'm coming over right now," Carol's voice was urgent. "Don't let Michael eat or drink anything. Not even water. You might need to call an ambulance." Jennifer's heart raced. "Carol, what's going on? What was in that coffee?" "There's no time to explain. I'll be there in 20 minutes, Carol said and hung up. Jennifer put down her cell phone with trembling hands. Her intuition had been correct. There was something terrible planted in the coffee beans Carol had sent. She debated whether to wake Michael but decided she needed to secure evidence first. Returning to the living room, she took the coffee bean package. She took photos as a precaution and placed some of the beans in a Ziploc bag. Then she checked the back of the package again. Below the manufacturer's information, there was a warning written in small letters: "Please consult a doctor before use if you are taking medication." Normal coffee doesn't have such warnings. This was clearly not ordinary coffee beans. When the doorbell rang, the clock showed 11:32 p.m. Jennifer took a deep breath and headed for the door. When she opened it, Carol was standing there. Her usually perfectly styled hair was disheveled, and her makeup was smudged. She must have rushed over in her car. Her eyes had a manic gleam. "Where's Michael?" Carol pushed her way into the house. "As I said earlier, he's taking a shower," Jennifer answered calmly. "Carol, what have you done?" "Me? I haven't done anything." Carol suddenly behaved as if she had regained her composure. You're the one who's lying. About Michael drinking the coffee. Why do you think that? Because that coffee is. Carol cut herself off. A special blend. I chose it to suit only you. It's not to Michael's taste. Well, but he seems to have liked it, Jennifer said, watching the other's reaction. He was drinking it all evening. Carol's face turned pale. When did he drink it? How much? From after dinner until bedtime, several cups, Jennifer continued the lie. It seems it was really delicious coffee. He said it had a special aroma. Carol collapsed onto the sofa. This is terrible, something awful will happen. She murmured. Carol, Jennifer stood in front of her and looked her in the eye. What did you put in that coffee? Put something in, I didn't. Carol tried to deny it, but lost her words at Jennifer's cold stare. Tell me honestly. Otherwise, I'll call the police right now. Silence flowed between them. Only the sound of the clock's second hand could be heard in the house. Finally, Carol spoke. It was for your own good, her voice was small. Because you're ruining Michael's life. Me? Jennifer couldn't help raising her voice. Since you appeared, he's changed. He doesn't listen to me anymore. He even finds our weekly dinners bothersome, tears welled up in Carol's eyes. And you're trying to have children, aren't you? When I said I wanted grandchildren, Michael said, it's too early. He would never have refused me before. Jennifer was speechless. She realized that Carol's distorted love and obsession were even more serious than she had imagined. Carol, what did you do? She asked again. What was in that coffee? Carol looked up. A cold determination appeared on her face. A small amount of medication. Nothing dangerous. Just something to make you a little calmer. Medication? Jennifer repeated in a trembling voice. Components with relaxation effects, and in the long term, ingredients that make you a bit more compliant, Carol said matter-of-factly. If you drank it for several weeks, you would become more peaceful and stop interfering in Michael's life. You would also become more obedient to what I say. Jennifer's body trembled with fear and anger. You tried to poison me. It's not poisoning, Carol quickly denied. I just wanted to change you a little. For Michael's sake. If Michael knew, he would never forgive you. Carol smiled slyly. Do you really think so? My son loves me. He's always taken my side. He would choose me over you. At that moment, the living room door opened. Michael was standing there. His face was pale, and his hands were shaking. Mom. I heard everything you just said. The blood drained from Carol's face. Mikey, it's not what you think. I was thinking of you. For my sake. Michael's voice trembled with anger. How does trying to drug my wife benefit me? You don't understand. Carol stood up and tried to approach her son. I've always only thought of your happiness. That woman has taken you away from me. Michael stood next to Jennifer and put his arm around his wife's shoulders. Nobody has taken me away. I chose this of my own will. Jennifer, and our new life together. A flame of anger lit up in Carol's eyes. You may think you chose, but you're being manipulated. She's brainwashed you. Please leave, Jennifer said quietly but firmly. Leave this house right now. And don't come back. Carol looked at her son for help, but her last hope was shattered by Michael's cold expression. Go, Mom, Michael said. I don't want to say anything more right now. Please don't make this situation worse. Carol grabbed her handbag with trembling hands and headed for the door. Turning back, she said finally, you'll realize someday, Mikey. How much I love you. That I'm the one you really need. The sound of the door closing echoed heavily throughout the house. Michael and Jennifer remained embracing in silence for a while. "It's okay now," Michael whispered. "I won't let Mom hurt you ever again." Jennifer buried her face in her husband's chest and shed tears of relief. However, one worry remained in her heart. She didn't think Carol would truly give up. Her abnormal obsession would probably not end here. That night, neither of them could sleep. Michael was depressed from the shock, and Jennifer was trembling with fear. "We need to have that coffee tested," Jennifer said in the darkness. "We need to know exactly what was in it." "You're right," Michael answered in a tired voice. "I'll contact a laboratory tomorrow." "What about the police?" Michael hesitated. "Let's gather evidence first. We need to determine how serious Mom was about this." Jennifer nodded silently. The next morning, Michael got up early and was already making phone calls. When Jennifer entered the kitchen, he was talking to David, a friend from college who now worked as a researcher for a pharmaceutical company. "Please, David. This is an emergency," Michael said with a serious expression. "Can you test it today?" After hanging up, Michael explained to Jennifer, "David has agreed to analyze the coffee beans. It's unofficial, but we should get reliable results." Jennifer took her husband's hand. "Thank you. Last night was truly unbelievable." "I can't believe it either," Michael said with a tired face. "That Mom would go that far." Just as Jennifer was about to say something, Michael's cell phone rang. Carol's name was displayed on the screen. After hesitating, Michael answered. "Mom, I'm not in the mood to talk right now." Michael's expression changed dramatically. The blood drained from his face, and his eyes widened. "What? Hospital?" Jennifer held her breath. After Michael hung up, he said in a trembling voice, "Mom says I've been taken to the hospital. She says I'm in critical condition." "What?" "Something about toxicity symptoms from the coffee." Michael looked confused. "But I'm right here." Jennifer intuitively understood. "It's a trap. She's trying to lure you out of the house." "But what if something really happened? You're right in front of me. I can see you're fine, can't I? Let's call your company." Michael quickly called his company and spoke with his secretary, Janet. "What? Who's in the hospital?" "No, I'm fine. I'm at home right now." "Yes, I'm perfectly healthy." After hanging up, anger appeared on Michael's face. "Someone pretended to be me and contacted the company, saying, 'Michael Brown has been rushed to the hospital.'" "It was Carol," Jennifer said with certainty. "She's trying to separate us." Michael's expression hardened. "I can't take this anymore. It's time to tell Mom everything." Before that, Jennifer grabbed her husband's arm. "Let's wait for David's test results. Without evidence, Carol will deny everything." In the afternoon, David called. Michael put it on speaker mode so Jennifer could hear too. "The results are in, Mike. Your coffee beans definitely contained additives." David's voice was serious. "Mainly two types of drug components were detected. One is a benzodiazepine-type drug with anti-anxiety effects. The other is, this is the troubling part, a certain type of psychotropic drug. If taken over a long period, it has effects that increase submissiveness and dependency." "Oh my God," Jennifer said in a trembling voice. "If you've only had it once or twice, there wouldn't be much effect, but if continued for several weeks, it could potentially affect the taker's decision-making ability and judgment," David continued. "This is definitely not something you can get over the counter. I don't know where it was obtained, but this is illegal." Michael's face turned pale. "Thank you, David. Can you send me an official report?" "Of course. It will be ready in a few hours. And, you should contact the police." After hanging up, the two were enveloped in silence. Michael exhaled deeply and finally said with determination, "Let's go to Mom's house. Right now." When they arrived at Carol's house, she was already waiting at the entrance, as if she had anticipated their visit. "Mikey," she rushed to her son. "Thank goodness you're safe. I got a call from the hospital saying you had been admitted." "Stop lying, Mom," Michael's voice was cold. "It was you who called the company this morning, wasn't it?" The smile disappeared from Carol's face. "What are you talking about? I was really worried." "The test results for the coffee beans are in," Jennifer said. "We know everything, Carol. What you were trying to do." The three moved to the living room. Michael took out the report sent by David and placed it on the table. "Look at this, Mom. These coffee beans contained an anti-anxiety drug and a psychotropic drug that makes people submissive. How did you obtain them?" Carol was at a loss for words. I don't know anything about that. There must have been some mistake in the manufacturing process." "Enough." Michael's shout echoed in the living room. "No more lies." Carol's expression changed. The distraught appearance vanished, and she regained her composure. She sat deep in the sofa and exhaled deeply. "Yes, I admit it," her voice was low and surprisingly calm. "I added special ingredients to that coffee. But it was out of love, Mikey." "Love?" Michael said with an incredulous expression. "Drugging someone is love?" "You don't understand," Carol looked into her son's eyes. "I was trying to protect you. From that woman." "That woman?" Jennifer couldn't suppress her anger. "I am your son's wife." Carol ignored Jennifer and continued to stare only at her son. "You've changed, Mikey. You don't listen to me anymore. I felt our relationship breaking down. Because of her." "What are you talking about?" Michael said with a confused look. "I've just grown up. I'm just living my own life. You drifted away from me." Carol's voice suddenly rose. "Do you know how lonely I've been? After losing my husband, you were all I had." "That doesn't justify trying to control someone with drugs," Michael said calmly. "Mom, you're sick. You need help." Carol suddenly burst out laughing. It was an eerie, manic laugh. "Sick? Me? You're the one who's sick, Mikey. You've been drinking my special tea all along." Michael and Jennifer looked at each other. "What are you talking about?" Michael's voice trembled. "When you were 14 and entered your rebellious phase, I found a way to control you," Carol began, speaking as calmly as if she were telling an old story. "A small amount of drugs mixed into your daily tea. At first, it was just an experiment, but it worked. You became a good boy again. You started listening to me." Michael's face turned pale. "That's a lie, that couldn't be." "For over 20 years, Mikey," Carol smiled. "You are my creation." A few days later, Michael was being examined by a specialist. Detailed tests were being conducted to determine what effects years of drug administration had on his body and mind. "Mr. Brown, I'll share the test results with you," neurologist Dr. Clark said in a gentle voice. "Due to the long-term administration of psychotropic drugs, some impact on cognitive functions is observed. Particularly in areas of autonomous decision-making and emotional control." Michael nodded silently. Jennifer gripped her husband's hand tightly. "Is treatment possible?" she asked. "Yes, it is," Dr. Clark smiled reassuringly. "First, we'll completely flush out the drugs, then conduct cognitive behavioral therapy. It will take time, but the brain's adaptability is remarkably high. You should see significant improvement in 6 months to a year." When Michael and Jennifer left the examination room, a police officer was waiting. "Mr. Brown, I have a report about Carol Brown's arrest." Carol was arrested at her home and charged with intentional drug administration and handling of dangerous substances. Various drugs and detailed records were discovered during the house search. Carol's diary revealed that she had begun administering drugs when Michael entered puberty, and she had done the same to his former fiancée, Sarah. So Sarah suddenly breaking off our engagement was because of Mom. Michael murmured in the car on the way back from the police station. She must have noticed something was wrong. The trial began 3 months later. Carol Brown was sentenced to 8 years in prison. The judge sternly noted, the defendant's actions constitute child abuse and a violation of basic human rights. However, Carol showed no signs of remorse until the end. This was love, she insisted in court. I did it to protect my son. Michael went to visit her in prison only once. In the visitation room, his mother, who had once been full of dignity, sat wearing the thin orange prison uniform. When she saw her son, she smiled as if nothing had changed. Mikey, you came to see me. Do you understand what you've done? Michael asked quietly. I was just trying to protect you from that woman, Carol answered. She was trying to take you away from me. I have the right to protect my son. Michael said nothing more. He stood up and left his mother, never to return. A year later, Michael and Jennifer had moved to a new house. Continuing to live in the old house would have meant constantly facing the memories of the past. Michael continued his treatment while rebuilding his company, and Jennifer opened her own design office. And a new life was growing between them. It's a girl, Jennifer told Michael after returning from the ultrasound. What shall we name her? How about Emily? Michael said, gently placing his hand on his wife's belly. It's a name that means, new beginning. Every month, letters arrived from the prison. They were from Carol. Michael kept them without opening them. One day, he mustered the courage to read one. The content was still filled with distorted love, but it no longer shook his heart. How was it? Jennifer asked. She hasn't changed, Michael answered quietly. But I have. Michael and Jennifer vowed that the family they would build would be based on mutual respect and understanding, not control or manipulation. Emily would grow up in such a healthy love. Having painfully realized what a true family is, Michael was liberated from the chains of his past and had become truly free for the first time in his life.